Something that's been bothering me for the last couple of days, I'd say the last couple of weeks, you know, is why people do things and why they lie, why they go out of their way to just make themselves look stupid. Now, I just don't understand it, and this all came to a better understanding when I went out with my guys about a week and a half ago, and we were at the bar. You know, we met up. It was just 4 guys. It was me, my brother Frank, my buddy Eric, and my buddy Tom. And we just wanted a guys' night out. No women, no girlfriends. Just wanted to catch up on old times and, you know, just have a few beers and just relax. So we went to this beer garden that's like 3 blocks from my house. And, you know, we just sat at the bar for a few hours and, you know, we bar hopped from here and there. And on the way, obviously, throughout the night, we were just talking about random shit. You know, we spoke about Batman and, you know, the casting of Ben Affleck, and we talked about Heath Ledger as the Joker, and who's a better Joker, Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, and we talked about baseball, music, you name it, it was talked about. But there was one thing that was brought up which was rather surprising, and that was the name of my ex-best friend, Chris. Now, I haven't mentioned him on this channel yet, and I've lost contact with him for pretty much the last 2 years. Him and I were easily best friends. I mean, we would do everything together. We would call each other, we would hang out every weekend, no matter if we went to the bar, whether we traveled to the city, whether we just wanted to stay in the Bronx and just drink and listen to music and just fucking laugh. You know, it was just one of those friendships where we just enjoyed being around each other. We enjoyed each other's company. We could talk to each other about anything. You know, we knew each other better than anybody. You know, I would talk to him about, you know, the most personal shit, family problems, my love problems, my relationship problems, and he would do the same thing. And we would go ask each other for advice. And we met in high school. You know, we met in high school freshman year. I remember to this day how I actually befriended him and we instantly became friends. I mean, freshman year, I met him and we hit it off then. And it took us up until about junior year in high school to really, you know, actually become closer and closer as buddies, you know. I remember I sat behind him in economics class and, you know, we were all into the heavy metal thing and we were just starting to fully invest ourselves in the genre of heavy metal. You know what I mean? We were listening to Slayer and Sepultura and Fear Factory, if you guys know those bands. And, you know, I was listening to an old school radio station here in New York City that's no longer around, 92.3 K-Rock. And late at night, they used to play the really extreme stuff, you know, the really extreme death metal. And every night I used to go to sleep on a Saturday night. I would listen to it when my brother would fall asleep to it. And they would have commercials on the radio about Cannibal Corpse. You know, this Florida-based death metal band who was probably the pioneers of death metal, you know. And this prompted me to go out and buy their album at the time, which was called Bloodthirst. I bought Bloodthirst, and I showed Chris Cannibal Corpse the first time. I sat behind him junior year in economics class, and I showed him, I'm like, dude, listen to these guys. You're going to fucking love these guys. They're right up your alley. It fits your personality perfect. And he fell in love with them, and from there we found 6 Feet Under, and we found all this other death metal stuff, and, you know, we became fans together of the death metal genre. Our first concert, actually, was Cannibal Corpse back in 2000 at L'Amour's in Brooklyn, and we stood for 7 hours front row to watch Cannibal Corpse headline, and this was the most absolute extreme show I have ever been to. If you guys don't, I'm sure half of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cannibal Corpse, The Crown, Nile, Chris Iron, this Brazilian-based death metal band that's absolutely fucking crazy. We sat for stood I should say, for 7 hours front row just to see Cannibal Corpse live, up front, personal. My dad drove us to the show. We experienced this together, and from there we seen Cannibal Corpse together 5 more times together, you know? And like I said, we did everything together. We hung out, we drank, everything, you name it. And it came to 2 years ago when I got fired. I got fired from my job and I was unemployed. You guys who have been subscribers here know my story. I don't want to go into it again. But I was depressed. I was going through a tough time. I felt like I didn't have anybody to help me. Nobody would reach out and say, Jerry, I want to help you. I was all alone, depressed. I was playing Call of Duty, meeting people online, you know, slowly getting into the YouTube thing. And he was going through his own tough time. He was on medication. He was battling depression and, you know, anxiety and all this other bullshit. And he had a tough time with relationships, and he had a tough time with finding work. You know, he's being screwed over by family. You know, he had dated this one girl for 4 years who pretty much ended that relationship and went on to something else. And you know, she was a member of the clique too. We all hung out together. You know, everybody that I hang out with, we all know each other. And, you know, we all know our problems. So he was going through, you know, a really tough time because he'd been with her for 5 years. They were living together, and he was back, you know, being single again, and he wasn't, you know, he didn't have any work. He was trying to work with family in construction, and that didn't work out. He was being screwed by family. They weren't paying him on time, and they weren't giving him steady work. And eventually he found work in Yonkers, you know, taking care of the horses before they go out and actually race on the racetrack. And he found steady work doing that. He was making about $500 a week. And, you know, he was being kicked out of his apartment at the time, and he was struggling to find a place to live. So he had all this bullshit going on. He had, you know, been struggling to find work. He was just coming off a 5-year relationship he was still obviously upset over. You know, he couldn't find a good relationship. He couldn't find a good woman since then, and you know, he was off and on of his medication, and it was just a really tough time. He felt like nobody was there for him. But when I was going through my tough time, you know, he wasn't there for me. All he did was concern himself with him. You know, out of somebody who I'd known for 14 years, you think he would be a little bit more caring. But he wasn't caring. Because when I was going through my tough time, when I was sitting home here all by myself, do you think he actually called me and told me, hey man, how you doing? How you holding up? I'm going to come down to the Bronx from Yonkers, take the bus, and we're going to hang out and get drunk. As long as I have a place to stay at your place, I don't mind coming down to hang out. He didn't say none of that. He didn't say none of that at all. No phone call, no text, no Facebook, nothing. Nothing. To me, it seemed like he didn't care. But when he wanted me and my brother, who he was also close with, not as close as me, but he was very close to my brother as well. Pretty much my family, my entire family knew him very well.
Kill confirmed.
When it came time for him to say, hey man, you want to come hang out? I'm like, dude, listen, you don't have a steady place to stay. You're living on the stables up in Yonkers. You know, you pretty much have a bed and nothing else. If I come up there and I have to stay pretty much at your place of employment, you know, where am I going to sleep if I come up there and get drunk? Right? My first instinct is to gonna come up there, get drunk with you, and drive back home. And I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because I'm not risking driving under the influence. I've had that happen once before, and it was a fucking nightmare. And I'm going to save that for a different commentary because that's something I definitely want to talk about, which I really haven't talked about with anybody when I got pulled over for a DUI in New Jersey. But he was very inconsiderate and uncaring. Wanted me to come up there and hang out with him. Meanwhile, he would never make an attempt to come down to the Bronx and hang out with me. And this is someone I knew for 14 years. 14 years I knew this guy. He didn't make any attempt to come down to the Bronx and hang out with me and my brother and the rest of the guys who knew him very well. So I told him, I'm like, listen, I don't have any money, okay? I am unemployed. Everything I'm collecting from unemployment is going towards bills and paying my car, okay? At the end of my month for unemployment, I'm getting $1,205, okay? Add that all together, and the rest of what I have left over from unemployment is going towards food. I can't drink right now. Drinking is the last thing on my mind, even though I want to drink to escape all the problems that I have right now in my depression and my sadness. I'm being strong, and I'm not doing that kind of thing because it's irresponsible. He wanted me to go up there, waste gas, find some place to stay up there if I couldn't stay with him, and drink with him up there. All because it would please him. So, it came to one night where he blocked me off Facebook. He deleted me off every social media website that I knew him on. He pretty much said in a text, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're nothing but a piece of shit. And I'm just going to disappear. Because everyone that I know, including you, is worthless. And before he had the chance to finally delete me off Facebook, I said, you know what? Fuck this. I let him have it. I'm like, how fucking dare you be so inconsiderate to me, someone who had your back through everything, who was there for you when you were depressed and off your medication, who came running when you wanted to just fucking end it all, when you were suicidal, when you had family problems, when nobody wanted to hang out with you. Who was there? Who wanted to do everything with you? Who wanted to be there by your side for everything? Who was the first person I called to go hang out with, to go to a concert with, to go to the bar with and get drunk, to go act like a fucking fool with and not have a care in the world? You. You were going to be one of the best men at my wedding. Okay? You were going to be in my wedding party. You were going to be the one guy out of everyone I know who would be top billing at my wedding. And that's the way you fucking treat me? It's your fucking loss if you don't want to hang out with me. If you don't want to make the attempt to come down to the Bronx and see me. So that was that. I never heard from him again. And I've been tempted to text him to see how he's doing, to see what he's up to see if he's still alive. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. But, backtrack to when I hung out with my guys about a week and a half ago. Like I mentioned in the first half of this commentary. His name was brought up. Why was his name brought up? Because after he told me he was going to disappear, find a new job, and move 2 hours away, upstate, in upstate New York, and just forget everybody in the Bronx. This is what he told me. He was going to move the company he was working for on Yonkers Raceway, taking care of the horses, was going to move him 2 hours away, upstate in New York. They're going to find him living, and they're going to have him take care of horses for this family-owned company, whatever the fuck is going on. I don't even know. I don't even remember. But he was moving 2 hours away. His name was brought up because he never moved away. He never moved. He lied to me. He deleted me from Facebook. He deleted me from his life. After he told me he was going to be moving, and he never moved. What has he been doing for the last 2 years? Why are you going to throw away a 14-year friendship with someone who had your back through anything? Why? Why would you do that to me? His name was brought up because he's dating one of the girls that we were usually hanging around with back in the old days. Her name is Christina. My buddy Eric said, you know, John, our singer for Risen, like if you guys remember, I mentioned him in my other commentary. Eric was like, John mentioned, or John was been talking to Chris lately. Chris reached out to him on Facebook. I'm like, oh, really? That's interesting. And Eric was like, Chris is dating Christina. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So that means Chris is still in the Bronx, or still relatively close to the Bronx. Yonkers is only 15 minutes away. I'm like, that's odd. Why did he say he's moving away? So this has been bothering me for the last 2 weeks. My best friend, or my ex-best friend of 14 years, who we've been through everything together. We've known each other all these years. We know each other inside and out. We know each other's past. Our love life, our fucking personal problems, our family problems. Everything. Told me he's moving away, and he never moved away. He's still 15 minutes away. And now he's dating somebody who I know, who I don't talk to really, but somebody I know that used to hang out in the clique. You know? That's a problem to me. I want to text him just to see if he has the same number. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But I want to text him. And I want to be like, what are you doing? You know? Every now and then I think about if you're still alive, and I hear from fucking Eric that you reached out to John and that you're dating Christina, but you don't reach out to me? The one guy who had your back? And my brother? Another one who had your back through everything? That's fucked up. This is nothing I expected from him. Nothing. Someone who we've been through so much together, and this is how I get treated. This is why I am the way I am with people. This is why I don't like people. This is why I have this kind of attitude on a daily basis. You guys don't know how many times I've been fucked over. Whether it be by a woman back in Jersey that I got fucked over by. Whether it be by people in the Bronx, you know? And at times it makes me realize there's really no good people around anymore besides your family. That's it. You know? It makes me wonder why I even moved from New Jersey, because when I lived in New Jersey, when I was still working with the band, I was more close with people living 2.5 hours away than I am now, living 5 minutes away from everybody. When I lived in Jersey, everyone wanted to hang out with me. Chris was the first one saying, dude, come up. We'll go to Coyote Ugly. We'll hang out in the city. We'll get pissed drunk till 4 in the morning, till the bar closes. Last calls at 4 o'clock. And that's exactly what we did every Saturday night. We would get drunk every Saturday night for 2 years straight at Coyote Ugly. The bartenders at Coyote Ugly knew us by first name. They had our phone numbers. That's how many times we were there. We had a blast. I kind of miss that. I miss him because as each year goes on, I'm losing friends left and right. And it's going to come down to the point where I just have my family, my girlfriend, and my other best friend, Pete. You know, my buddy Pete is who I call a best friend. He never left my side at all. Never. Freshman year of high school, we instantly became friends. Instantly. I sat in front of him every homeroom in high school. My last name is Derasmo, his last name is Davidson. We sat next to each other in every homeroom. And from freshman year of high school, one guy I've never lost contact with. He texts me every week, and he's going through his own thing right now, and I've kind of lost touch with him. Because he's expecting twins, and he just got married last year. He just celebrated his first year anniversary with his wife, and they're having twins, like I said, and he's working like a fucking dog. And he's never left my side. Always texts me during Monday Night Raw, always finds out what I'm doing. He comments on my YouTube, you know. That's a friend. But I miss having that with Chris because I didn't expect that from him. I didn't want him to disappear. I wanted him to remain here with me. I wanted him to be that best friend that I know or that I remember he was. But apparently, from the way I see it, I'm not good enough for him. For him to lie to me. For him to go behind my back and date somebody that we all know. Tell me he's moving away, but still remain in the area. I just found that to be fucked up. and I don't appreciate that at all. And that's that, you know. I really don't know what else to say. I really wanted to just get that off my chest and talk to you guys about it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Whether you know someone like this at all. Whether you think Chris is a fucking asshole. What you would say to Chris if you seen him again. Would you even reach out to him if you knew him? I don't know, man. I know some fucked up people. And this is why I do what I do. And this is why I talk about it. You know, this is why I am the way I am. But what can you do? In closing, I want to thank Matt Murda for the gameplay you guys watched in the beginning on Standoff. If you guys want an honest, laid-back, chill individual with beast gameplay and commentary, I highly suggest you go subscribe to his channel and follow him on Twitter. Links will be in the description down below at the top. I'm out, guys. Thanks again, Matt. We'll do something soon. And I know you got a birthday coming up. And that's that, guys. I'm out. I'm going to relax. Had a long weekend, Labor Day weekend. Alright? I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Take care.